I don't know who wants his turn. Shine it on this. Alright.
My name is Free Speech. Since David did enchiladas, I'm going to do Arizona. My name is Free Speech. It's funny how colored people's faces change places, how time moves, but still little changes because the status quo maintains it. You probably saw it too, but maybe you just didn't want to say it. But while I'm on the topic of illegal immigration, let me remind you that I too am a descendant, the genetic remnant of an illegal immigrant. The only difference was she came with papers. Papers entitling her entire genealogy to be exchanged by foreign corporations and industrial complex of social subjugation, otherwise known as the Southern Plantations. Agricultural torture chambers which, thanks to guerrilla militants like Tubman and social justice advocates such as Douglas, we were partially liberated. And her forced residency was as legal as it was immoral. But since the pros outweighed the cons, and the cotton gin needed cotton to run, then right from wrong took a back seat to Adam Smith's invisible backhand, which for her meant being pimp slapped and pistol whipped into submission. So men marched, burned, and hung, so I could hang out on college campuses, pretend to be Greek, dream of earning six figures, and forget my historical context, which is that I am the descendant, the genetic remnant of an illegal immigrant. But my illegal immigrants, they come with no papers.
That's right.
But face a similar plight for exploitation. Conglomerate industries granted free liberty to exploit their human dignity, so long as the end justifies the means of a polarized version of the American dream, which ain't the same dream if you were born a minority with an inferiority complex. It's about being pulled over in Arizona, because your skin complexion makes that cop think to question the nature of your nationality, which was okay until you enrolled in a university. Because you forgot the rules in the States, which is the colored people's faces are supposed to know their place, be complacent, and stay away from education.
All right.
But my man from the Southland, he crossed desert lands and sacrificed life and limb so he and his wife and kids could have a nice place to live. And if that meant he sat out in the hot parking lot of Home Depot and pleaded for work from Americans and pickup trucks who surveyed him like a supplement on the auction block,
That's right.
and that was all in a day's work. On his way home from work, the Constitution got broke. Excuse me, Mr. Mexican. License and registration, please. I have an illegitimate suspicion that you fit the description of an illegal resident, so you're being arrested for driving recklessly while impersonating a genuine American citizen. But wait. Before you suggest that I'm a racist, let me say this. I'm just an agent, operating in the state's best interest and central in the midst of budget cuts and midterm elections you make for the perfect social distraction. So with my list of stereotypes and negative cultural images from which I draw conclusions in conflict with the Constitution, allow me to search and seize you. Because we the people doesn't mean you. And we the people no longer need you. Been nice knowing you. Now pack your bags and go home. So cold. When I hear conservatives on the radio vowing to secure borders like they didn't look the other way when the borders were open, I'm not joking. Colored faces get replaced when their existence no longer squares with good business sense, political agendas, and financial incentives. Speaking of politics, remember how when the housing bubble popped and the stock market dropped and the big banks were bailed out for billions, how all of a sudden the root of America's problems is that there are too many brown people.
Wow.
Speaking of politics, remember when Southside Chicago Kenya took over in the Oval Office there? The Cosbys moved into the White House, and Latino was nominated to the Supreme Court to offer a Latina's opinion on a narrowing American view. Then yes, we can learn Spanish, and Guatemalans, Ecuadorians, Peruvians, or Salvadorians, Mexicans chanted "Si se puede," like it was an echo uttered in ancient tongues, ringing from the top of Mayan ruins. How all of a sudden the only way to save American jobs is to deport the brown people. So I stopped drinking Arizona tea and won't cross the border into Arizona, take Interstate 10 past Palm Springs, call a boycott like your boy Dr. King, until the state of Arizona develops a humanitarian immigration policy that embraces this reality. We are here to stay. Arizona.